In order to play a character well, you need to really feel what they're going through. So some actors might be deeply influenced by the most well-known characters they've played, but some actors aren't necessarily positively affected by their roles, and some are just plain traumatized.
This video is brought to you by Answerly, a question platform that pays you for adding high-quality answers on different questions. The users are rewarded in Answerly tokens, which they can easily convert into dollars or any other cryptocurrency by using one of the exchanges mentioned in the description.
Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we will be talking about the actors who left with permanent damage after a role. If you're new here, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notifications bell to get updates whenever we post. Actors aren't the characters they play in shows. They're real human beings with feelings. Stars who put everything they had to roles that demanded intense emotional and/or physical investment ended up permanently damaged by their dedication to the film. Some of them even got sent to therapy, the hospital, or some sort of wellness retreat. With all that being said, let's begin. Heath Ledger, The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger's performance of the Joker in The Dark Knight earned him an Academy honor for Best Supporting Actor. Sadly, it was a posthumous award, since Ledger died in January 2008 of an accidental drug overdose. Rumors circulated in the years following Ledger's ultimately death that the part's preparation had played a factor in his death. Despite the fact that they've been vehemently challenged by members of his own family, it's difficult not to see Ledger's pretended descent into lunacy as detrimental to his general health. Even while he wasn't on set, Ledger struggled to shake the Joker. He put himself in rigorous solitude before production began, keeping a diary of terrible pictures to enter the domain of a psychopath. He told the New York Times, "I probably slept 2 hours a night." In truth, Ledger's death was caused by a combination of painkillers and sedatives. Michael B. Jordan, Eric Killmonger, Black Panther. One of the few accusations thrown against Marvel Studios over the previous decade is that the MCU lacks iconic villains. But 2018's Black Panther defied the pattern. Michael B. Jordan's Eric Killmonger was a smash sensation with Marvel fans all over the world, with Black Panther grossing over $1 billion worldwide. Jordan had a fantastic portrayal as the war-hungry Wakandan usurper, and many fans sympathized with his objective to use Wakanda's sophisticated technology to combat tyranny of African people across the world. However, it was Jordan's first time playing a villain, and it had a mental toll on him. "I've never been in a character for that long, and it was, I guess, that dark, that lonely, that painful," Jordan explained. After finishing Black Panther, the actor attempted to return to business as usual, but he needed the help of a therapist to break free from the Killmonger mindset. "I found myself kind of in the routine of being isolated and went out of my way to make sure I was by myself," the Creed star continued. "Once I got finished wrapping the movie, it took me some time to talk through how I was feeling and why I was feeling so sad and like a little bit depressed." Bill Skarsgård, It. An actor can sometimes become so immersed in a role that it's difficult for them to let go of it once the movie is finished. In the case of Bill Skarsgård, the character didn't appear to want to let go of him. Unfortunately for the young actor, that persona was one of the most horrifying to ever appear on film. Who was the villain in question? Pennywise, the shape-shifting clown or beast from Stephen King's It, to be exact. It was one of the most popular films of 2017, and it is considered one of the finest horror pictures of the last decade. Pennywise, an evil creature that feeds on fear and takes the shape of the thing that scares you the most, is at the center of the picture, and Skarsgård gives a wonderfully terrifying performance in the important role of Pennywise before it begins to feast on you. Needless to say, Skarsgård had to travel to some dark places to get into the role, which he compared to being in a really terrible relationship. He attempted to get rid of Pennywise once the camera stopped rolling, but he couldn't. Kit Harington, Jon Snow, Game of Thrones. A number of young actors were pushed to levels of celebrity they couldn't have imagined when they auditioned for Game of Thrones, but few faced as much pressure as Kit Harington. His role effectively became the show's protagonist over the course of 8 seasons, and by the finale, being Jon Snow had put great burden on him. Around the time of Snow's death and resurrection, Harrington's mental condition began to deteriorate. He said, "I felt I had to feel that I was the most fortunate person in the world, when actually, I felt very vulnerable. I had a shaky time in my life around there, like I think a lot of people do in their 20s. That was a time when I started therapy and started talking to people. I had felt very unsafe and I wasn't talking to anyone." Sadly, the show coming to an end doesn't appear to have helped matters. Harrington booked into a wellness retreat not long after the last season of Game of Thrones ended. After concluding the HBO epic, the actor sought therapy for stress and tiredness as well as booze. Margot Robbie, Tanya Harding, I, Tanya. Margot Robbie, who made her breakthrough as Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad, seems to have a more difficult experience making her follow-up picture, I, Tanya. Robbie received a lot of praise for her portrayal of condemned figure skater Tanya Harding, but the part seemed to come at a cost. She needed weekly MRI scans after herniating a disc in her neck, and her physical health was the least of her concerns. The Oscar nominee grew so absorbed in the character that the boundary between work and personal life became dangerously hazy at points. "I had lost my mind," Robbie describing the effect on her co-star Sebastian Stan. "I honestly believed we were these people, and we were off the set, screaming at each other and the cameras were following us. I think I was screaming something about needing to go to the hospital because my hand was broken, which it wasn't, but I was so caught up in the moment." And Sebastian was like, "Margot, where are you going?" He went to pick me up because I was continuing to tear down off set, and I turned and punched him in the head. Harding's ex-husband, Jeff Gillooly, was played by Stan. Robbie claims that entering into this abusive relationship had a significant impact on her. "It was very terrible for me," she said. Dakota Johnson, Susie Bannion, Suspiria. Dakota Johnson is most recognized for her role as doe-eyed protagonist Anastasia Steele in the critically panned 50 Shades of Grey movie, but it was only a few stepping stones for her. The actress exploited the mother porn genre to launch her career, which led to more demanding parts in films like Luca Guadagnino 2018's remake of the 1970s horror classic Suspiria. Susie Bannion, an aspiring ballet dancer, is played by Johnson in the remake, which was so dark that she needed professional counseling. No lie, Suspiria fucked me up so much that I had to go to therapy. During a news conference, Johnson was pressed to clarify her remarks. Well, she stated that she was not psychoanalyzed at any point during the filming of Suspiria, and that the experience was not traumatic in the traditional sense. She did clarify that she did seek help from her therapist after the film was completed. "I find sometimes when I work on a project, and I don't have any shame in this, I'm a very porous person and I absorb a lot of people's feelings," she said. When you're working sometimes with dark subject matter, it can stay with you, and then to talk to somebody really nice about it afterwards is a really nice way to move on from the project. My therapist is really a nice woman. Christina Applegate, Jen Harding, Dead to Be. Dead to Me, a dark comedy series starring Christina Applegate, has been ordered for a second season by Netflix amid critical and fan acclaim. She would have been ecstatic to hear the news, but based on her criticisms about the show's production, the idea of a second season undoubtedly made her nervous as well. Jen Harding, played by Applegate, is a widow coping with the death of her husband, who was tragically murdered in a hit-and-run, with the support of her free-spirited friend Judy Hale, Linda Cardellini. Applegate admitted that the role had taken a physical and emotional toll on her. She remarked of one especially hard sequence, "I was in traction for a week since I hadn't danced in 10 years before that day. So it hurt. This old body? This 47-year-old body can't handle it anymore," Applegate said. It was the mental aspect of the job, though that had a lasting impact on her. The Anchorman actress added that she relied on her own personal losses to get to where she needed to be for her parts, which required her to seek treatment. She explained, "It touched into some issues that I had to address. Did I start treatment after I shot the show? Absolutely. To finally talk about and recover from the things that have damaged you in your life? I think it's a very lovely thing." Do you think you could take on one of the roles these actors played? Let us know in the comment section down below. We hope you learned something from this video.
If you like this video, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to this channel. To learn more about Answerly and Answerly tokens, check out the links in the description.